The Portland is Home team talks real estate. Whether you live here or you're on your way, Audra and Andrew Galler work hard to welcome you home. They make the whole real estate process attainable, educational, and fun. After all, it is the biggest transaction of your life. The Portland is Home team talks real estate. I'm Michelle Odell, your host. And now, Audra and Andrew Galler.
Hi, Michelle.
Michelle, hello.
Hello, everyone. It is July 21st. It's hot. It's summertime here. We're going to publish this on July 24th. So just so you know what we're talking about here as far as the market minute Andrew's going to have for us. And we're also going to talk about the Gallers going to Europe and how they do it so successfully with a tween and a teen. And we're going to talk about how they prepare for vacation, how they enjoy their vacation and deal with young people, and then how they kind of recoup when they get back. So we have a lot to talk about, and it is kind of all based around being a little sweaty. So just bear with us on this. But first, it's Andrew Galler's Market Minute.
Market Action Report. So Michelle, it's July 21st. We have another week. Another 10 days left of the month, so let's keep that in mind when I talk about statistics. This is not the end of July's statistics. So the market right now is, I'm going to use a very technical term here, it's weird, okay? So everyone try to just stay with me on this. I think what we're experiencing is a distortion on top of a distortion wrapped in a distortion. Okay. We've touched on this in episodes past, how the portion of everyone's mortgages that are very low, I think it's like, I'm going to get these numbers wrong. Anybody in our listening audience, please chime in, make comments to get it right. The point will stand regardless of my accuracy of numbers, but it's somewhere like 40% of all mortgages out there are below 3%. And like 60% are under 5. It's some astronomical number like that. Again, I'm positive I don't have those numbers correct, but I am positive the point stands, which is there's an inordinate amount of people out there who are being held hostage, quotation mark fingers, by their mortgages, and it's precluding them from doing what they want. So, which is to buy or sell a home. Otherwise, we would have more activity. And that's the thing, is we are seeing some homes that I believe are priced very well getting no action, no viewings, no offers. And then other homes I see, which in my opinion I might casually observe, not such a great thing, and they'll have 3 offers. Can't really reconcile or explain it. I do believe that there is still a lot of demand, but I think there's also a lot of people who don't. So let's go over some statistics, and then I'll go back to my witty repartee and commentary on today's market. As of July 21st, on today's statistics, okay, the amount of homes for sale this July versus July 2022, we have 14.7 fewer homes for sale. It's about 15%. People, well, there's less to look at by about 15%. There's 26.2% fewer new listings. So in the market I monitor closest, which is not the entire Portland metro, but rather the relatively closer in metro region, doesn't go out to the hinterlands, but goes out to the inner suburbs and the city. About a quarter fewer homes on the market July 1st through July 20th of this year versus the same time frame 2022. The amount of homes pending is down by about a fifth, 20.9%. And I would call that term pending, how we gauge the quotation mark fingers again, velocity in the market. How many people are getting homes under contract, right? And the answer is about 21% fewer than this time last year, 14% fewer than last June, month to date, okay? Because I've got this phenomenal program that allows me to see statistics to the day as of yesterday, because today we're still in the middle of it, so we don't have today's stats. So that's the broad overview, is that supply is down and so is demand. Everything's down. Why? Why is it down? If we talk to the casual person, let's just say we were at a cocktail party any month of the year, and I took a poll. Michelle, will use you as a barometer. If I were just to ask you casually, hey, when do you think the best time to go on the market is in the whole year? What do you think the answer would be?
Maybe I would say the summertime because kids are out of school. They can. I don't know. Actually, you know what?
Oh my God, that's it. That's what everyone says. That's what 100% of us sheeple will say. That's what we would all say. Kids are out of school. It's going to look better. Everything's in bloom. Everybody wants to get settled before school begins. I mean, right?
Yes. Okay. So
I've had this conversation a few times. You know,
million.
Yeah. But again, it's like I eat when I'm hungry, which it turns out is around 7 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. I mean, we're not all that different. So I think that's just normal human stuff. Okay. And that's I think that is the resounding answer because it makes sense. However, it may not be true. And let me tell you what I mean in terms of your theme of, hot, sweaty summer day. What I believe is that show of hands in this podcast, who thought winter was really long and dreary? There we go. 100% of hands up. There it is. Long winter. Audra, would you agree?
Yes.
Did anybody want to do a suncation at the end of all that?
We did. Well, we did it. We do one in January because we know we have another 3-4 months of it. So we try to do, and sometimes we try to get away in March too. We split it up. Mm-hmm. Actually, it was funny. Audra, like one of our very first episodes, you said, what do Portlanders buy to get ready for the winter? And you said plane tickets.
So true.
And it's so true. You get out of here in the wintertime.
Uh-huh.
I stay in July and August because it's gorgeous around here.
It's like the best time of year.
I love the summer
exactly.
here. It's gorgeous.
Because after a long winter, we'll get into our travels in a minute, where I saw a lot of, on a clickbait article, I stole this term. I wish I could take credit for it. Revenge travel. We'll come back to that. But I'm telling you right now, I saw everybody went shopping and then took photos of themselves in historically significant places. I'm here to report back. Okay. Everybody's new clothes were there, getting all Instagrammy. So anyway, I think after a long winter, we all here in the Pacific Northwest take shifts leaving town. Some people metaphorically are just checking out, picnicking, staying out, and just reveling in this season of light. I mean, it's about a month from the solstice, and it is still light out after 9 p.m. here. 9:30, you don't even need car lights quite yet. It's going to start changing, but we've had, the last 8 weeks have been very bright for a very long period of time. I just said I eat dinner at 6, but not now. At 6 o'clock, it still feels like 2 in the afternoon. We're not eating until 8. So I say all that to say that there's a lot going on right now. And I think a lot of people are going camping. Maybe these clients, real estate agents are out of town or they're out of town. So everyone's checking out, going on the rivers, camping, traveling, not heading the game. So usually supply surges this time of year relative to demand because we all think this is the best time to go on the market. And at the same time, a lot of people check out. So I don't think it's incorrect, the common thought that this is the best time. It's just that everyone thinks so. So if you want more competition, this is the best time to go on the market, and your house will show better. And I will get more people through an open house typically because a lot of people are out eating brunch. And while they're coming back, let's go stop at that open house because isn't it fun to go look at houses? So thank you. So that's what I think's happening right now. The consistently high interest rates are helping nothing. So there's also that. I do believe we may be, and we'll find out in 4 to 40 weeks, if what I believe is true, which is that at some point there's going to be a capitulation. There's going to be some point where everyone just acclimates to our brand new, abnormally high interest rates and is like, let's just get on with it. And they're going to buy a house or they won't. And if interest rates start to trend down a little, I think that may unleash a lot of buyers' pent-up demand that started about 18 months ago when interest rates popped. So all that to say is I think right now is a great time for buyers. Terrible for the interest rates, but as we've said before, if you can stomach marrying the home and dating the rate, then at least you're not in a huge bidding war. The bidding wars we're in, the multiple offer situations we find ourselves in of late, it's 2 to 5 offers, which is still awful for a buyer, but it's way better than a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, when we were in bidding wars of 50 offers, we were going sometimes $100,000+ over, waiving appraisal and inspection. It's still coming in 5th place. So that's my market report.
So the Gallers went to Europe. All right, let's talk about this now.
Okay.
I want to hear about the overall trip, maybe some of the hidden things that you might not just see in the average tour book, the feeling you get from a lot of these places. But I also want to know, and I think a lot of our listeners will go, how do the Gallers, how do Andrew and Audra go all these places with these kind of wild itineraries, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. How did they do that with a teen who's one of them is 13, right? And the other one is 11 now, right? It's like, and the pictures I see, I don't see a whole lot of fighting. I don't see, it seems like everyone is really having a good time. I feel like they get kind of catered to individually, and then you kind of cater to yourselves as a family as well. So break it down for people what the trip was like and how you all started it, and then how you deal with the kids. So just go.
I love it. So here's the thing. You have to, so for us with our kids, we get a buy-in. We want them to be a part of this. We want them to enjoy what we're doing. I think travel is really important if you can do it. But even if you can't go overseas or anything like that, I still think travel is really important. When we grew up, we were, joking before the show started about how we didn't take vacations like this. In fact, Andrew brought up that his vacation was to a box factory for a school trip.
Yeah, that's where we went.
Yeah.
Just didn't do those sorts of
Saltine
things.
cracker factory.
Yeah, exactly.
Box factory. That was
Corn
thrilling
factory.
stuff in Indiana.
Right. And you get a little sample at the end, and okay, Mom, I got a new box today. Exactly.
So, and we used to pile in, we didn't take vacations, but on the off chance that one summer we would do a vacation, we would drive to Florida in a station wagon if we were lucky. And that was the trip. Like you go down, you visit family in Florida, swim in a pool a little bit in a hotel, and go home. That was pretty much the vacation. And so, I feel really fortunate to be able to plan these sort of, somewhat elaborate trips with the kids. But I think overall, having some balance with the trip, having some buy-in for the kids of finding some things that they want to do as well as what we want to do, and just getting them to sort of be these global citizens was really important to us.
There's no better education than being around other people and their culture, their food, their sites, and you learn a lot about the people. So tell everybody the itinerary, because this is a little way. I mean, again, a lot of parents are very protective, and so it's great. I mean, I sent my kid out the door, as early as I could. Go do,
Go
but
explore.
You got to go explore. But tell everybody how the trip started and how everything went down.
Yeah, so we knew we were going to Europe this year. Andrew actually has some family throughout Europe, in South and North. And so we knew that we were going to try to do a trip to see some family. And then it so happened that the school trip, it's an optional school trip for our oldest, was going to Europe. This year it was a London, Paris, Rome itinerary. And he really wanted to go. He was jumping around, really wanted to do this experience with his friends. And we agreed. We thought, not us to chaperone, let him kind of figure out some things. with a group we thought was a really great opportunity. The year before, when we were in Paris, Andrew came up with a really good idea to allow our oldest kiddo to get us to destinations through the public transportation system. So we would say, here's we want to go to the Pompidou. You need to get us there. And he had to learn how to read the maps and read the train lines and get us there. And I think that is, that's really incredible education. I really wish that I had that, but I'm thankful that Andrew came up with that idea, because I thought that was brilliant, just to let them have to read it and getting used to reading maps. And now they love reading the maps. They love seeing the destination. They really enjoy, and they're young and they've already learned some train systems in Europe, in different places, not just in Paris, but we really try to have them do it a lot. And I think that really gets you to understand the city. And then they can also kind of, instead of just walking around and looking at things we're pointing to and just, okay, this is the Colosseum or this is the Louvre, they're getting a little bit more in depth on it, because they know where it is in the city, how to get there. We're in public transportation. We try to do public transportation all the time, more than anything else. Yes. We rarely do Ubers. Ubers are really big in Europe, and we either walk or we take public transportation, which is why we always have that step count at the end. Yes. And we'll do 10 miles a day just in the city, just walking everywhere. Exactly. And having them read the maps and figure out where we are and looking at the signs and being aware. So not only of the people, but of the other cities, and seeing, people speak listen to all the different languages and the different food. And I really love that exposure. So this past trip, you asked, what was the itinerary? So our kiddo left a week before us, and he did this trip, flew into London, did London, Paris, and Rome. And I was really excited because he had been to Paris the year before. So I really wanted to see what was his take being there with us, being there with the tour, what did he think? And so that was really interesting to hear his sort of insights on everything. And then Andrew and I and our other kiddo flew into Lisbon, Portugal. And that's where we started our trip, and we have family in Lisbon. So we started off visiting family and touring around in Lisbon, and honestly would have spent more time there, but we really couldn't. As realtors, going away is harder. You really need to set up a lot of stuff. You need to set up your team. You need to set expectations with clients, and travel is good for us, for our souls. And so we need to have it in order to come back and then, continue working hard, making sure our clients' needs are met. So having a good team that supports us is really important. And that's one of the ways that we are able to make these journeys. So we did Lisbon, and then we flew from Lisbon into Rome. Then we picked up we have family in Rome as well. And that's where we met our kiddo. And he got pulled our cousin went in and pulled him early from the trip and took him. And she had him then for a day and a half or two before we flew in. And then we all got into Rome, and then we did our thing. We did the Rome thing. We went to the Forum and just walked around and, ate dinners and hung out with our family and explored it and let them pick things they wanted to do. We had to recreate a couple photos. So that was, those were things we had to do.
Yeah.
We did photos on the Spanish Steps previous years. And, now all these years later, here's us doing it again. So the big part of the trip, the buy-in that we got from the kids was the Switzerland leg of the journey. And that's where we left Rome. We flew into Zurich. We took a train into a town called Thusis, Switzerland. And Thusis sits on the old Via Spluga trade route. It's a 9,000-year-old travel route. So they have this, you can jump in at different sections. You can jump in at any day. And then, so we did just 46 miles of the route. And so it's about 13 miles a day. And it's hard because you're climbing up and down. You're going through the Alps. You're going through this trade route. And it's not just like in a valley. Because we took, routes that went up and down. So
was that an organized tour with a company, or is that just you guys mapped that out and knew that you can go about 13 miles and then have another village to stop in? Or
it's a great question. You can do it either way. You can even do it guided. So we went through a company that maps out in your distance by how many days you say you want to hike for.
Okay.
And then they make the accommodations at the hotel. And the biggest nugget of it that because we were doing so much travel before, they would pick up the luggage and bring it to the next stop every day. So when we got there that night after hiking all day, our luggage was there and we would just, you're exhausted. And we lucked out on the weather. I mean, it got really hot in a lot of these places right after we left. 65 to 70 degrees were our days. And when you're hiking and that's as hot as you really want to go. I mean, you could obviously go more.
Our research has shown that the temperature we were there at is the upper limit you want for optimal gelato eating.
Yeah.
Yeah. This week I think
the melt point.
I think it'd be less spectacular.
So it was great. And that was their buy-in. They thought that sounded like an incredible trip. You can absolutely set it all up on your own. You can figure out the hotels. The luggage exchange is something that is a little bit like, we saw a lot of people just like backpacking through it, and that's possible too. We just, for our first time and having the kids, we thought have the luggage done. But then we had our own, we followed our own map. We didn't have any guides. We just, it's not hard. I mean, they're well-marked trails.
That's what I was going to say.
And there's
a
couple different.
Okay.
You can, you can definitely go on the road trail.
But there's a lot of signs.
You have to know, there is a lot of signs. You follow the Via Spluga is a red and white stripe in Switzerland, and then it turns to blue and white, I think it was, once we crossed over into Italy. But your route. You're on the Via Spluga. There's other routes that are coming crisscrossing in and out, but what you're following. Okay. And so there was one time we started down the wrong trail and we're like, this doesn't feel like our trail. And we had to turn around and hike up and then go back. But it's not a beginner. Okay. You can do, I think there's definitely beginner ones. This one wasn't. This was an intermediate. And we were a little nervous, but we didn't want the kids to be super bored. We wanted them to have to clamber over some rocks and there was some scary stuff. And weather can change in the mountains.
Yes.
And we'd had one day that it started pouring in the middle of our hike. And we saw, you start seeing some of the same people that are hiking, not with you, but like you're running into them because they started the trek about the same time you did. Right. And, people would we saw a lot of people turn back. We went through it. We hiked in the pouring rain. It was really cold, and then our feet were just soaking wet, and a lot of having to push cows out of the way.
True story.
You have to kind of hit them on the butt and try to get them to move because they're just standing there blocking. They don't know. You're like, get out of there. And cows are more roaming free there. They're just everywhere, and it's amazing. And you hear the cacophony of their bells throughout the, and you see all the border collies out running around and stopping at the little villas. It's just such a unique journey, and the kids were exhausted and they were getting tired. And we traveled with some more family on that, so they had there were more kids, and we had a bigger group with us, which was a lot of fun because at the end of the day, we're all, exhausted and dinner and a glass of wine and, and it was just, and then wake up and do it again. And it was such a repetitive thing, you just wake up and do it again, wake up, do it again. And it was a really unique experience, and I would do it again. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just find another chunk of mountains to do that with. Okay. So I'm adding up your tips and tricks of how to take the trip with teens and preteens. You keep them tired, you keep them busy, you keep them engaged. You try to have other family, so it's not just mom and dad and the two kids. It's like other people to take the buffer of everything. Any spats? How do you handle those types of things? Or do you, or are you all too tired to even? I mean, do you get hangry and you're out in the middle and you're like, you know, what do you? How do you deal with that sort of thing? Unless they get along famously every single day, and you guys have, you know, super kids.
They don't get along fabulously at all moments of the day. But I think they were all more tired. It was also really fun for them to do something that was so different. Our kids really like to be out in more, less urban, although they love the urban, you know, they're pretty.
They have all kinds of. They love all kinds of stuff.
I'll tell you this. Okay. This is what, now that you're asking me this question, they did spat a little bit more when we were in Rome than when they were hiking through the trails, which is really interesting. We had to stay on it. We had to get through our 13 miles. They had to just do their thing. And I didn't hear as much, you know, arguing, or I want to do this, or I want to look at the map, or I want to, you know, my turn, or I don't want to go there, or that, which was more. But Rome, it's hot when we were there, and crowded. You know, you're just walking around a crowded city. They, you know, it's interesting when you get them out and let them run a little bit more wild. Yeah, I don't know if that's everyone's kids, but I did notice that they were less argumentative.
Okay, in the woods.
Well, we were fortunate enough to be hiking with family as well. My sister and her son,
her family,
our guy's cousin was there, so that introduces some other dynamics. But you know, we're also at the age now where I think we're a little bit at, you know, you've got the rule of the playground. You know, you get the whole kid court thing where it's like some of that's like, y'all gonna figure that out. You know, there might be some tears, but you know, it's just the way.
It is the way. That's how you learn.
I realize that when I butt in there to try to like untangle those knots, I'm wondering these days if it's productive. And there's a lot of times where they're gonna self-iron that out.
Right. They'll make it work, and they have to. I think a lot of it, too, is that you started traveling with them when they were very young. What was the youngest you did anything big and monumental with them?
The first one, they were, our oldest was 10, 11 months old.
Okay.
We backpacked through Switzerland with him on our backs.
There you go. See, so that's another tip.
Yeah, we were in Budapest, Paris, and then we went to Switzerland.
Yeah, and that's a there you go. You start them young. It's like another language. You start them young, and then they're just like, oh, okay, this is what we do. A couple times a year, we go do this. And it's just, if you try to do it, again, I said before, I lived 1 hour away from Washington, D.C. growing up, and we went once as a family. And that was like an arduous day. It was nice to still remember how horrible it was.
See, listen.
No, I think that's the key. That's a lot of really good advice for especially new parents. Start doing things with them soon, right away. Even just trips around Oregon for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Just start them. Yeah, I mean, you start them at just get them used to it. I mean, just make it like it's part of the thing that, you know, and it's what we do. We like to travel. We like to see things. I'll say another thing that we did that really helps. Every family is going to determine when they feel the time is right for them to do this, but we do give them a little bit of freedom. Like we were in Kivana, so our kids wanted to go walk around. And he has a phone, and we said, yeah, go walk around. You have to be back in 2 hours or whatever. And they went, and they can look in shops, and they can just be together, and they got gelato. And they always come. Oh, they did it in Rome, too. Okay. In Rome. All right. We had dinner. They were done. They said, can we go wait outside? Can we take a walk? And I said, yeah, go use your map. Go take a walk. We can track them on their phone. We have that, find my phone thing.
Find my kid.
Yeah, we can call them.
Yeah. Which isn't weird at all. It's not weird at all.
And we give them we do give them some independence that they're doing this. And I know that it's not for everyone, as they are still fairly young, but we've been doing it for a while, and we're okay. It works for us. It is teaching them about awareness. And when they are in places like this, they are having to be more aware and look around and make good decisions. And we do trust them. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then too, I wonder about our listening audience right now. And I'll bet you the burning question in their minds is, that's all fine and well, but how do you do your business far, far away?
How do you do it all? How do you go away for, what was it altogether, 3 weeks?
Not quite.
Not
About 2.5.
quite 3 weeks. About 2.5 weeks. How do you juggle all of that? And I know you have a fantastic staff. I mean, shout out to Erica and everybody that works for you, which is huge. And you've worked with her for 100 years now, so she knows. But, what advice do you give to other people because I think that makes you a better agent. It makes you a better, everything you do, it makes you better because you're seeing how other things are done in other places in the world. It just makes you more interesting. You're more patient. You understand things better. So how do you juggle it all?
Well, I'll tell you, it's not easy. But what we do is we've had a little time in the 22 years we've been agents to figure out how to do it. How do you take a vacation and still serve your clients so that on the biggest transaction of their lives, we don't take it lightly, and we do like to have the bases covered. So we have built this team. We've engineered it intentionally to allow this to happen because we are raising little people and, need to get away. So we've got Erica, as you mentioned, and she's running the ship. And then we've met Lou in a previous episode, and she's boots on the ground as well. She takes time off, and we're there when she's gone. We're here all the time, except for when we're not. And then when we go, those two are here, plus we've got our managing broker, Sean. So we've engineered, so we've got a lot of support staff. Plus, two, my phone works literally everywhere these days.
Yeah. You could get a call if you absolutely needed to make a call.
Absolutely. Right. We're on the phone when we're away. We do get away. We unplug, but the thing's on. And so if there's a big deal that needs personal attention, we're here.
Totally.
Just wanted to throw that out there, that it's an interesting time we're in. When we were all growing up, there were no cell phones. Was that better? Was it worse? I don't know how relevant that question is because we're in this time now. And on one hand, it's a drag because there are times when I'm doing stuff with my kids and I have to walk away and do a phone call. On the other hand, I'm able to be there during the time when I'm not on a call, and I can be at their game, and I can be on doing their thing, and we can be in Europe, and I can also serve our clients. It's an interesting time.
So my assistant is a rock star. She's a mom. She can multitask. I really don't, I don't worry about her a lot. I think it's doing a lot of prep. We do a lot of prep. We get everything ready. We, really like any orders, any last design choices. We make sure everything's, pretty much spelled out. And I'm really fortunate that I have a lot of clients who are either long clients of ours, clients with families or not. And everyone really is really understanding, and they understand, they get it. They're like, yeah, you get a vacation too. And it's going to be here when you get back. And it's not, we're there, we're on the phone. This is real estate, property management, and design. And we can do a lot of prep work beforehand, and anything last minute. We have all our team here and boots on the ground, and they step up and they're able to do it.
Yeah.
22 years of setting all this up, getting these systems, really fluid and working.
And when you get back, do you find yourself answering emails or dealing with emails like on the plane on the way home or something along those lines, just so you don't come home to 4,000 emails?
Yeah. No, at night after everyone, we take probably about 20 minutes, half hour, and kind of scroll through and just kind of get rid of as much as we can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's a lot of catch up. That first, the first 4 days back, we're kind of scrambling a little bit, trying to catch up on everything. And, you got a little bit of foggy brain for a day or two from jet lag and travel and all this, and trying to, just get back into the swing of it. But I was just prefacing everything with, I'm a little foggy. Just don't hate me. I'm just trying to catch up here.
Yeah. And again, they understand. You always prep everybody.
Yeah.
Right before you guys left, you had a soiree, a customer appreciation gathering. And you were telling everybody there, like, hey, we're going to be away in July. You better, anything you need now, let's talk about it now, because in a week we're going to be away. And everyone's like, everyone loves it. They love that for
We're so fortunate, the people that we get to be surrounded by, our clients. We literally have the best clients in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, seriously.
Friends and clients. Absolutely.
Friends and clients.
Yeah. So you had a great time in Europe. What's your next big trip? Or is it still unknown at this point?
I think it's still unknown. The kids are begging to go back to Legoland.
Okay.
Disneyland. So that might be something that we're looking at. I know. You got to do it. You just got to do it. They love it. It's only so I think it's, it's really a special place that they love. And, and I like to see them excited about all kinds of travel. And that's just one of them.
And that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it. So they've been jumping around about that. And we try to do a ski trip every year. So we're going to look into that. And I don't know, we've got family up north in Scotland. So that might be next year, because we've been promising we're going that route. So we'll see. We'll see if we can make that work.
That sounds really great. But okay, so for next episode, it's still sizzling hot. Things are sitting around, it sounds like, based on your market report. We want to talk about, is it the best time to buy now? And I know Andrew has some thoughts. Audra has thoughts. In fact, there could be even some fighting in the next episode, which is always fun. You know what I mean? Good fighting.
Yes.
So you both have different thoughts on that. And so let's talk about that. Is it the best time to buy? And I think the answer is going to be all over the place, actually. So,
yeah. And as always, reach out to us, email, or, you can call us or send us a text if you have questions about traveling in Europe, traveling with kids, or the market in Portland.
Yeah, I'd like to invite everybody to, if you need market data, a market analysis, look at your home, referral for contractors, get your AC looked at if you haven't already. And lastly, let us know what you're barbecuing.
Yeah. Get some recipes.
Yeah, this is it. We're in the season. It's not going to last forever, people. Fire up our grills, get some snacks, and let us know what you're grilling.
And sign up for their newsletter. Just go to portlandishome.com and it tells you how to do it. So just do that too.
Yes,
they have
please do.
Recipes and everything there. Yeah, it's fantastic. All right.
Yay.
In the meantime, stay cool, folks.
Yes.
Happy
Thanks, Michelle.
summer. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks for listening to the Portland is Home Team Talking Real Estate podcast. For more info about Audra and Andrew, finding your next home, or selling your current home, visit their RealtyWorks website at realtyworksgroup.com and check them out on Instagram at Portland is Home. Be sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. For help with your podcast, find us at Modcast Productions or modcastproductions.com.